All right, so we have the yellow bike up on the left. We put the goddess aside. We'll get back to her in a few days. Pull that tranny cover off and find out what's happening. So we put the yellow bike up here because we've been neglecting it, and we're going to try to get the speedometer to run this new Speedo from Smith's. It's a nice electronic speedometer and tachometer. Tachometer works beautifully. Speedometer we've not got working. It's a new Smith's instrument. This is the original cable, and I just realized it. Look how stiff this one is compared to this new one, which is incredibly flexible. So that's fascinating. That means that this is different than this one. Oh, look, the sender unit is different. Look at that. There's a completely different sender unit here, Kevin. Look at how small it is.
Yeah.
Compared to this one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very different.
Okay, so materials are different. End is different. They give you a short cable, not long at all. And then you have to extend it for your particular application. I did this one when I first got it, first tried it. All of this from here out is the wires being extended. I think that's because these instruments are primarily built for all British vintage cars and things like that. And the Norton motorcycle or British motorcycle part of the marketing is maybe 1 or 2%. So I think we're kind of neglected just because we're not a lot of users. So I'm going to extend this wire here. I've got these. I'm going to use these tiny little heat shrink solders and extend the wires out the same length as that one. And then we will start the installation. All right, I lengthened the cable. It's in place. Right now the cable end is in the end of the drill. Normally on a speedometer test, you rotate the speedometer cable counterclockwise. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the reset function at this point in time. Kevin's going to turn the ignition on, and we'll watch both of these instruments do their research. Reset, go ahead. There they go. So they go up and they sweep and they come back. Okay, and we've got lights on inside there on the numbers. And theoretically, we should be ready to do something. I'm going to stop and clean the lens on this thing, and we'll start over. Well, let's see. So here we sit, broken-hearted. Paid a dime. No, never mind. Good morning, Kevin.
Morning.
And there's Spunky down there. This is the yellow bike. We just put the speedometer on it, and we are having a lot of grief with it. We'll talk about that in a minute. Here sitteth the green goddess that runs and will not go into gear. I don't know why. We're going to have to take the tranny cover off, but it's got full throw on the gear shift lever, and doesn't go into gear. It just flops back and forth. So anyway, we've got the yellow bike over here. We've got the new cable on. We've got the new speedometer on. When we turn on the power, both of these instruments do their initiation thing. Let's see how I can get on this thing so it don't have a reflection. There. So watch this. And this time the tachometer
Didn't initialize.
It'll do that sometimes, I swear. It just sometimes doesn't initialize, sometimes it does. So anyway, you're supposed to be able to hold this button down. Kevin, hold that button down. We're going to try to see if this thing will go into the calibrate mode. I got that. That's okay. I'm going to turn it on now. Let's see. You hold it down. I turn it on.
Then I let go as soon as it goes back to 0.
Right. And at this point in time, it should say right in here in this little window something like setup, and it don't. So it just doesn't go into the setup mode. So we're going to do a test right now and see if it does anything at all. We tried spinning the wheel, that didn't work. We tried driving it with a drill, that didn't work. Then I read somewhere that driving it with a drill doesn't work because it gets a false reading, and I've read so much on this system that I just don't know what to do. I don't know, very frustrating. So Kevin's going to do a test ride and see if the speedometer works as a speedometer when he rides the bike. Okay, this is going to be a cold start, and we'll find out if that tachometer is working or if I messed something up when I was inside the headlight yesterday. You just never know. You just never know.
Didn't initialize again.
Make me crazy.
Yep.
I must have knocked the wire loose or something.
You want to fix it before I head out, or?
No, go ahead and
Let's try it.
do a test ride. Those clutch plates are sticking yesterday. Yeah. Okay.
Boy, there's not much freak left.
All right, little false start there. Clutch plates were sticky yesterday. They're sticky today. And he says there's not much free play in the clutch itself. I truly don't remember what we did on this bike up to this point, but we'll have to check that clutch. And dodging the car that's pulling out. Okay. All right, well, welcome back. So the tack kicked in, right?
Tack kicked in, it was just
They're
fine.
Now
Yeah.
initializing. Go ahead. Turn that on and off.
See if it'll initialize. Yep.
And they both initialize. However, and the tack works.
Yes.
Now, however, the speedometer
Never kicked in.
does not do anything.
Mm-mm.
I'm so tired of that. Okay, all right, and clutch.
Clutch is very, very little friction zone. I mean, you got to pull it all the way back, and as soon as, I mean, it couldn't be more than millimeters.
All right.
And it grabs. And then shifting, it's almost like you had a double clutch. Now that may have been, I just wasn't pulling this in far enough, but pull it in, tap, then tap again, and it would drop into gear.
All right, it's dragging.
Yeah. And I mean, and I was lifting my boot off to make sure that I wasn't holding anything down.
All right.
But accelerates well, brakes work fine, idle's nice, you know.
All right. Let's put it up in the air and check the clutch rod adjustment. And if we don't see something radically wrong, we will open the primary and check the clutch out and see what's happening in there. All right. In the meantime, I don't know what I'm going to do about that speedometer. I really, honest to God, don't. I don't know. All right, well, we adjusted the clutch push rod, the release rod. It was quite tight. There was no play in it at all. And we drained and put some fresh oil in it. And we're going to do another test ride. I like that we are going to do another test ride. Kevin's going to do another test ride now and see if he's got better clutch action so that we can decide whether or not to open up the primary. And the tachometer is working beautifully, and the speedometer's not working at all. I'm not sure how much more time I'm going to spend inside that headlight checking, playing with wires. You can only do it so many times for so long. He keeps forgetting he's riding the Norton. Shift patterns backwards. Here he comes.
Better, much better. Still drags a little bit. It downshifts smoothly, no problem. Upshifting, it likes about between 3,000 and 3,500 RPMs, and very methodical. Roll off, pull, click. So it's, like I said, between 3,000 and 3,500 RPMs, nice, as long as it's methodical.
Okay, let's stop. All right, putting fresh oil in the primary gives us a primary leak. I guess that's why there wasn't much oil in it when we drained it. So we're leaking oil now out of the bottom of the primary, which indicates we really should take the primary cover off and reseal it. I don't like the looks of the gasket. It's kind of nasty. And if we're going to take the cover off and seal it, then we might as well, those three little words that get us in so much trouble, might as well. We might as well take the clutch apart and take a look at the plates. The adjustment we did made a difference, made it easier to shift, dragging less, but it's still dragging. And so we'll leave that up to the client and what he wants us to do there. In the meantime, I'm going to open up the headlight one more time. I'm going to jiggle all the wires that are going to the tachometer, because I don't like the fact that the tachometer's cutting in and cutting out. So I'm going to jiggle the wires going to the tachometer, see if there's anything loose. I'm going to double check, triple check, quadruple check the wires going to the speedometer. And then I don't know what I'm going to do. So this bike is going to sit here for the day. I'm going to call it a day. Do you want to pull the cover off the Green Goddess?
I don't want to, but
You
we
don't want
can.
to, and it's
Yeah.
it's
We
9
got about another hour before I want to go home and clean up for lunch.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. So yeah, we're gonna take this one down, put the Goddess up here, and pull the cover off the transmission, and then I'll work on this later.